This is an Arcane Intelligence podcast.
Welcome to a world of danger and wonder. Here, four friends, led by their dungeon master, roll dice and discover adventure. This is the Tale Untold podcast.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting adventure of the Tale Untold podcast. I'm your friendly neighborhood DM, Matthew, and today I'm joined by our three players. Let's start first with Jace. Which character will you be playing today, Jace?
Today I will be playing Fang Krek, the half-orc warlock.
Nice. Fang Krek recently separated from his other personality that was stuck in his body. So today we're going to have Ramos staying behind to cover our tracks, if you will. So he'll be out of the way and make sure he's not in combat. Don't die. We have Brad with us here today.
Hello, I will be playing Azel Brightheart, a magical escape artist with a penchant for talking his way into trouble.
And today I'm joined by Mike.
Yes, this is I. I am Mike. Mike is me, and I will be playing Deja. And Mason? He is a Pact of the Genie warlock who likes to Eldritch Blast whip things. That's her thing. Yep.
In any event, welcome. So let's jump in where we were. Last time we were here, you guys escaped the library inside of the Empress's palace. You made a mad dash through the palace trying to find an exit after Thraxic went forward to try and draw the guards away, give you guys a chance to escape. You guys ended up in the throne room, almost got by a white dragon that was in there. The good part is that you guys were stealthy enough and fast enough to avoid getting completely wrecked. You stumbled into a hallway, found a secret way, and ended up in the study of the Empress, where you not only encountered the Empress, but you also encountered Fang's father, who was also May's father and Ramos's uncle. Did I get all that right?
Yes. A lot of
Awesome.
familial connections there.
Family tree is well established.
Yes.
And so, while you were in there, you shot the dad. You
Yep.
discovered that the Empress was actually in a lithid that was using some psionic magic to both hide her magical abilities and to keep control. You guys learned that the Empress was not who she said she was. She'd probably been masquerading as various daughters of the Empress through different generations for centuries. You ended up forcing her to flee using a plane walking spell. You got a great time to talk with your dad, healed him up. He managed to use Greater Restoration to split Ramos and Fang. We have no idea about Clara. Who knows? Who knows where she is? But you guys managed to split Fang and Ramos. Fang, of course, feeling extremely betrayed by his father and noticing that, his father really hasn't been there to help him very much in the past and feeling a little betrayed. Something to work on. You guys move forward. You escaped out of the palace thanks to Rogadin, Draxus, which is dragon. And as Rogadin was flying back to join his friend in battle, he disappeared, signaling that Draxix had fallen in battle. Y'all poured one out for your companion. And last time we left off, you guys were planning an escape with Tibran giving you guys some ideas about how we could sneak you out. So, before you guys begin your attempt to escape from the city, since there's definitely some heat now that everyone assumes something happened to the Empress, you guys spent the night with the sound of guards running around in the street, people banging on doors, sounds of loud voices. Thankfully, you guys were not in any trouble. You enjoyed your long rest, since some of you were at particularly low health. And what would you like to do?
Well, just before we get too far, Thomas is going to stay behind. I don't really feel like role-playing out the whole thing. But essentially, he's going to stay behind because he's been now spent a couple days with these people who are magic users but not totally, equipped. He's kind of been teaching them what he knows, but he knows that like he's not super knowledgeable in the arcane stuff, and he's going to stay behind, and eventually he's going to teach them enough that they can kind of defend themselves, and then those that want to go, he's going to take back over the wall or to the other
Valley.
side of the continent. And he's going to try to take them to Augie. He's going to try to seek out Augie, tell our friends what we've learned. But he's basically going to bring Augie a bunch of these students to teach so he can help Thomas's ideas that he will make a university and teach these kids under Augie's tutelage.
Augie would really love that.
That's what Thomas was thinking.
Yeah.
And I find that fantastic.
Yeah, he would love to be a teacher, even though he would probably be that monotone teacher that you have, like monotone science teacher or math teacher that you just start falling asleep to in university, but he would love it.
Well, that would be fantastic. So he's going to stay behind. So, going to get out of the city. Tiburon has suggested that you could potentially cross the wastes to the west. If you look on the map that we have on our Handy Dandy Discord of the area, there is a city to the east of the capital known as Korea, looks like.
Yeah, I think that's what how we
Korea.
decided to pronunciate it.
Yeah, Korea. There's that city you can get to escape the worst of it, and then from there, Tiburon had told you that there was some sort of tomb in the mountains that they had found that might be a way to cut through without having to go through the cleft of Balor, which is a large ravine that runs right through the middle of the mountains.
Would we know, being in the city, much about the Cleft of Belor?
The two of you that have grown up in this area know that it is where the Balorians are, is not a safe place. May has been there. Or I should say, May and Deja. Masia? I don't know. They have been there and they have experienced it. It's not a nice place.
Okay.
And I'm assuming May probably has some unresolved trauma with going back there.
Yeah, they both do. They don't want to go back. Nuh-uh.
Well, anywhere that stays away from them damn Belorans is probably our best bet.
So there is a way to get around, which is great.
All right.
Is there anything you want to do before you leave?
Deja has an exit strategy, much like she tried to do while in the Empress's palace. She could turn into a giant gorilla, go invisible, and carry you guys away, flying. So
And how long does that last?
flying is an hour. Polymorph is also an hour. So I imagine we could fly out of the city to someplace safe if we wanted to. I wouldn't be able to turn us invisible, but I think we have other party members that can do that. Feng, I think, has got invisibility. If I'm concentrating
Thomas
on
did.
polymorphs.
Yes, I do have invisibility.
Yeah. So we could avoid going through the city, or we could go through the city. Depends on whether or not you want to be carried by a giant gorilla.
Hazel want to be carried by a giant gorilla.
I know it's a hard thing to grok.
Oh yeah, that does sound fun.
It could be great. It's up to you guys. What would you like to do?
Well,
I'm with the gorilla if you're asking me.
Well, giant grellos aren't exactly my style. However, the faster you can get me to the coast, the faster I can reclaim my throne.
Oh, you're not coming with us into the valley to stop them mages from, destroying the world and such?
I am not withdrawing my aid from you. Of course, I will still be trying to disrupt the Mages Guild. I just believe that my resources are better used in other places.
Well, so you're the son of the brother of the king?
I am the son of the king.
Oh, well, oh, this is so confusing. All right, well,
Not the reigning king, of course, the king that has since passed.
well,
Tiburon injects. Wouldn't that make you the king? By
That
default.
is the idea. If I can seek to reclaim my throne, then I am going to be much more help to you than I would be sneaking alongside you.
hmm. You plan to do that all by your lonesome?
Well, I plan on getting halfway there all by my lonesome. That does remind me, though, Azel, have you ever considered piracy?
Like with the hook and the eye patch?
Those, those are unnecessary. Just, if you ever find yourselves on the coast near Jandar, just look for a ship. You'll know it when you see it.
I'll keep my eyes out.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, let's get moving on. The closer I can get to the coast, the faster I'll be able to help you all out. Although it has been fun sneaking around with you.
Oh, well, I I can't say that our relationship got off to the best start with you, trying to kill me multiple times, but I kind of got used to your roguish charms.
I
And
mean, you can't blame me. You did just see that my own uncle, your father, did try to kill us.
yeah,
So the
we're kind of
suspicion
all
was
messed up.
warranted. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I think our family must have a curse other than occupying the bodies of our siblings and relatives and being emotionally damaged and murdering seems to be amongst them.
We are also devilishly handsome. Well,
Oh,
half of us anyway.
yeah. Well, you're all pretty in your own ways.
Oh, you guys are fun. Anyhow, Tiburon says, well, if you intend to fly out, we can at least get you a distraction, of course. Something to keep the guards from looking up just in case.
Well,
Um,
it would be kind of bad for them to see a giant gorilla flying through the air. I think it's probably paramount that we don't do that because, dragons and such would come chasing after us. And as exciting as that seems, I would rather not be a toasty gorilla and plummet down to our deaths.
hmm. Well, good point.
Well, I guess y'all would plummet because I can fly.
Well, I got this fancy ring he's gonna hold up, one of his rings. Lets me shapeshift a bit, so I could be fine too. I can turn
All
into that
right.
bat again every now and then.
Well, shall we then? I don't think it's going to get any safer.
No, I think we gotta get ahead of him as much as we can.
All right. So we've had a long rest, right? We rested overnight.
Yes, you have.
Cool. I'll hit that long rest button.
Oh, it's a new day.
It is a new, beautiful day.
All right. So I will use my elemental gift and get flying speed of 30. Then I will polymorph myself into a giant ape, which is a huge beast with a strength of 23. And his carrying capacity is multiplied like two or two times as it's a huge beast. So I can more than carry everyone on my back.
That's the best part.
Yeah, so just grab a bunch of fur. I'm not going to be able to speak, but just so happens that giant apes have an intelligence of 7, so I will be able to be reasoned with a certain amount.
You don't lose your ability to understand language. You lose your ability to speak it coherently.
Yeah, well, I don't have the capacity to speak. Yeah, so I could
Yeah.
grunt and stuff
Mm.
like that. So yeah, so I will do that, and then Feng can cast
Yeah,
invisibility on the giant ape.
I'll cast invisibility. Let me see. I think at 4th level I'm going to cast it. I think I can make 3 people invisible with that.
I believe so, because it's a second level spell. +1/+1, so yeah, 3 people.
Okay, so me, the giant ape, and who else?
Azel.
Um, Yeah, Hazel. Then Ramos will just have to be very sneaky.
Fl- Flying on the back of a giant ape.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then we find like a semi-open square. I go invisible, turn into a giant ape, and you guys climb on. And then we go flying through the city, over the city, avoiding any dragons that might be flying by.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Um,
Intending to.
yeah, that's why I have to roll D100.
Can I roll deception and pretend to be a cloud? And then I'll do the Winnie the Pooh?
You're fine. Roll a D100. No one noticed you. They're a little busy looking elsewhere to think about looking up, which is a chronic problem with humanoids. Most of them forget to look up. Something that things like dragons have exploited.
Mm-hmm. But then they don't tend to look up either. They look down. Because they think they're apex predators.
That too.
All right. Cool. So you're flying away from a Shire on the back of a giant ape that's invisible. I feel like this is a lot like, what's the name of that flying bison in
Not quite Appa levels, but I get what
Appa?
you're getting at.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah,
there you go. It's kind
I
of
went to
flowed,
Dumbo.
right? Yeah.
Dumbo.
Appa is better.
Yeah, so you guys
Hey.
fly away. Now, this spell lasts for 1 hour, and it's a once a day, I believe.
Yeah, so Polly can only use polymorph once a day. I get us, I guess, far enough out into the wastes where we're out of harm's way, and then
Your flying speed, is that equal to your walking speed? Double your walking speed?
30
Remind
feet,
me.
but I'll be dashing, so because I'll be using my full turn, so 60.
Yeah.
So it
So
is
60
I
feet
can,
every 6 seconds,
Yeah.
roughly, you know.
whatever the
what's
travel
so you're
rate
going
for a
like
humanoid
30-ish
is.
miles an hour?
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is that running flat out 30 feet in 6 seconds is supposed to be reasonable for an average human at like 12, 15 miles an hour. So after going about 30 miles, you feel your spell start to dissipate and you make a safe landing. You
Yeah.
haven't been flying that far off the ground once you got far enough away from the city to not see it,
Mm-hmm.
but you are now in the wastes. And as your polymorph spell disappears, and your flying spell wait, is it you could disappear from the flying spell, but polymorph? What's the time limit on that? Remind me.
They're both an hour.
Okay,
It's all
That's-
Made at the
conveniently
same
just
time.
1 hour. Yeah.
it's usually like 1 hour, 1 day, 1
Yep.
minute. Like
Yeah.
they usually
1
do that
unit.
for our easiest. So it all disappears. You guys are in the wastes. You have been heading east. 30 miles is about halfway to the next city.
Okay.
The travel between Orbia and Ashaya took you several hours on an airship that was moving at a good amount of miles per hour for a steady clip. Now that you guys are walking, you guys are starting to really get a feel for the distance involved in this.
Right.
All right. For me, I need a marching order. So who all is it, just the 3 of you that are going, or did you guys take anyone else with the group with you? Fang's dad, any of the
He said he was going to
others?
stay and try and keep an eye on
I think
things.
everyone else
That's
is
right.
staying.
And Ramos is coming with, but only to get to the ocean. I think
Yeah,
we part ways as soon as we part that direction.
Exactly.
Ramos wants to get to his city as fast as he can, which makes sense.
So he's making a
so-
beeline for the ocean, and we're going wherever we're going.
Ramos is going to, since he's a rogue type, I believe we're going to have Ramos hang back about a quarter mile, being your rear guard, covering tracks and such. That way, we don't have to worry about him being involved in combat, which will keep everything nice and neat.
I think. Well,
Unless you really want to
Azel-
run 2 characters, Jace.
No, that's okay. Ramos has other things to do.
I
He's
think
planning his return to power.
Azel would be talking with Ramas and showing him the spells he uses for pickpocketing and things.
Showing off.
showing
So
off
Azel's
like,
in the back.
if you just learned this cantrip, then you can.
And as soon as he takes something with magic, Ramos just takes it back without him noticing.
We're just like pickpocketing each other.
All right. So, Deja and Fang, which of you do you think would be in the front?
Fang would be up there.
Yeah, I think Deja would probably be competing with Fang.
They'd be chatting about warlock stuff.
Yeah. So I think they probably have some stuff to catch up on. They're siblings, and they just found out about it. So they're also like half siblings or step siblings. I don't know what's. Yeah, so they have a lot in common.
Half siblings.
Yeah.
What we're getting at is that no one's actually paying attention, so we're all going to be surprised. Everyone's distracted.
There you go. There's your note. Everyone's talking to each other. Okay, so you guys are walking. Now, if you guys reference the handy dandy map on our Discord, you'll see that the way that you're traveling is wide open. There's not a whole lot in the area. There is, however, some very tall grass in the area. And is about 4 or 5 feet tall in some places.
Hazel would every once in a while cast mold earth to like pop himself up above the grass to get a bit of a better look around, and then walk a bit and pop himself up again every once in a while to make sure we're going the right way. And
looking out for triceratops, ambushes.
He'd probably also grab a blade of the grass and kind of play with it in his teeth.
Okay. So you guys are traveling, having a good time, talking, and generally passing the time, because it's going to take several hours of traveling to make good headway. It'll probably take you a day or two. So, for the sake of brevity, I want to ask, is there any downtime actions you would like to do over the course of the 2 days it's going to take you to travel there? Because, specifically speaking, walking, it's usually considered that an average party can move about 14-ish miles a day walking without mounts. 20 if they're really going on a hard march.
May would probably be like keeping an eye out for any like herbal or like plants or things that you could put into her herbalism kit, and like make into tinctures or salves or such.
All right. Well, there is the herbalism
that
chart.
Plant chart.
If you'd like to dig it up and roll 3 times and just record what you find.
Azel's he passes the time just kind of playing with his daggers. He might kind of set up a little target practice
as he goes. Hazel's just walking, throws a dagger up and over the group, sticks in the ground. As he walks up to it, he'll pick it up and do it again.
Well, and he throws it and then tries to catch it, like throws it at his invisible mage hand and tries to catch it like midair.
Catch with himself.
It's kind of a party trick he's been trying to like, so just like looks like it's gonna fly and then just stops perfectly still in midair.
I love that.
Ooh.
And he'd set up like mounds, and once we like set up camp, he'd like make mounds of dirt with mold earth and be like hiding behind one mound and then like popping out and trying to shoot another mound with an arrow.
He's staying up to snuff combat wise. Good stuff. Fang, is there anything you would like to do as a downtime activity? If any of you all have forgotten, downtime activities can be looked up. 5th edition downtime activities. Pretty much anything you want to try.
I think as far as Fang goes, he's just going to try to rest a little bit.
He's had a trying few days.
Yep.
You guys make camp for the first night. Who's on first watch?
Fang will take it. Fang's used to it.
Sir Fen can also take a watch, so we don't have to be up all night.
So Fang takes first watch. Fang, go ahead and roll your perception check as you're watching. The first watch of the night is really sunset to about 9 o'clock, 10-ish.
That's a 7.
Fang is a little distracted by all the craziness that's happened. So tell me, how is Fang feeling about his father being alive and meeting him? I imagine Fang has some feelings, and I imagine this is what's going through his mind that's made him so distracted.
Yeah, Fang more than anything is upset that his father would abandon him. His whole life, he thought that his parents were both killed, or he thought that they had abandoned him for a better reason. And he's just very disappointed that he never came back to him. And it's very emotionally tolling on him, and he just is trying to process emotions that he hasn't felt before because he's never had a family before. Thomas was the closest thing he had to a family, and now he's just here with people he doesn't know, trying to stop problems that are far greater than his reach in the world. And he just feels like he's not gonna add up. Like, if his father was able to abandon him, what stops him from abandoning all of these people?
Mm.
Deep stuff.
Well, I love this. I love that he is trying to deal with his family issues in a realistic way. So good stuff. Your first watch passes without incident. And Fang, do you attempt to sleep? Or do you continue your
Fang
tradition of trying not to sleep?
Fang still tries not to sleep.
All right. Roll a D100. If you get over 70, you fail to remain awake.
I got a 61.
You managed to keep yourself awake, at least through the next watch. Who's taking second watch?
Azel. Azel will
All
take
right.
the second watch.
Azel, the moon is high in the sky. Azel, go ahead and make your perception check.
That is a 24. 23.
24. Fantastic. So, Azel, while you're at watch, you're pretty much alone. The fire is crackling behind you. It's very low because you don't want it to be too bright and give away your position. People are snoring behind you. Fang is doing his usual, staring into the space. What is on your mind?
Azel is so confused about all of the events that have just happened, all this splitting of bodies, and he's just kind of trying to forget about it and pretend like it's just a normal day. So he's very focused on he's also been in the city for a long time, and he grew up in the country, so he's been really enjoying the being back out in nature. So he's definitely soaking it all in, and probably why he's so perceptive.
As you're thinking, you hear a small rustling to your left. You glance over, and you see what seems to be two forms kind of quietly walking through the grass just to the left of your campsite. You have a perception of 24, so you can tell that they do not appear to be humanoid.
How big are they? Can I tell?
You assume that they're crouched down because they seem to be quite big. I would say that these are definitely in the realm of large creatures,
Okay.
by and large. But you can tell that these are just displacing a lot of grass as they walk through.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to wake Ramas, because he's probably also the quietest, stealthiest person. So I'm gonna wake Ramas, and then once I do that, I'm gonna try to sneak up and get a closer look at these things, but then have Ramas wake the others if needed.
Okay. You shake Ramas awake. He's just kind of like, and he kind of like stands up and looking around with you. So you want him to accompany you?
I want him to still kind of hang back, but
Just
he
be
can
awake?
quietly wake the others.
You could have woken
stealthy
anyone else up, and you chose me. Okay, what's going on?
Fang just kind of mutters that he's awake. So I need you to roll another perception check as you kind of attempt to stealthily sneak into the dark. Now, your perception check will be with disadvantage because you do not have any sort of dark vision or anything like that.
I have dark vision. Azel does.
Azel's a half
Azel
elf.
does.
He's mostly elf.
Or mostly elf. Yeah.
Mm. Well, with your dark vision, you can go ahead and attempt to do your perception check.
Actually, I'm gonna use my ring to turn into a bat.
A bat.
Yes.
Fascinating.
It's the bat.
What is the bat's range of its echolocation? That should be in the stat block for a bat.
Echolocation. The blind sight 60 feet when not deafened. Vantage on perception for hearing.
Very good. All right, you bamf into a bat. Are you using polymorph or are you using your witch ring?
My witch ring.
Okay. With the witch ring, you're supposed to roll a d6 and see what you get.
Right, I rolled that already.
Mhm.
It's a D8.
Okay.
I
It's
rolled
a
it for
D8.
the.
Okay. I love the witch ring. It's one of my favorite magic items.
I've been rolling it each day to whenever we say we're
You
doing
get
a new day.
one random, was it one or two or three random wild shapes into small kind of witchy creatures?
Yeah, they're like familiar type creatures.
Also known as mage escape buttons.
Yeah, but I've gotten
I
the
turn
bat
into a
like
spider.
I've gotten the bat like 3 times in a row. But okay, so and then I want to fly over them and hopefully it's nighttime. I'm a bat. I shouldn't be too startling. Even if they see me.
Well, you can go
That's the
ahead
idea.
and make a stealth check.
Okay. Ooh, miserable.
That sounded like your metal die. That was thud.
Did you get over 12?
No,
Okay.
got a 6.
You fly up. You're flying, let's say 10, 12 feet above the grass. So you're roughly 20 feet in the air. You're up nice and high, but you can still clearly see the ground. Because echolocation, the whole thing about echolocation and the blind sight it brings is that it gets fuzzier the farther away you are. So you get a nice clear picture. And you go up and you can see two forms. Large, therapedal forms. So this is a bipedal creature, bent over, long tail, big head.
Okay.
You can see them moving in the grass as they kind of are circling the camp. But you also notice that one of them kind of looks up and sees the bat fluttering and is looking at you intently.
I would kind of flit around, seeing that I've been seen, but that I'm a bat. If I have one's attention, I'm gonna kind of make a ruckus, be kind of annoying, like flap my wings and like flap in like chaotic circles. So that
You're going to try and
it,
distract it a little bit.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Everyone else, Ramos has kind of woken you up, and he's not able to tell you much except for Azel heard or saw something. You guys get up. You're kind of waiting. You guys can attempt to make perception checks. They will be with disadvantage due to the nature of this creature and its stealthiness, unless you happen to have blind sight.
Well, that was lucky.
Mm,
I do not have dark vision, but I will attempt to make perceptions. 17 with disadvantage.
Fang got 11 and Ramos got 13.
Neither of you guys see anything in the grass.
Can they see me? Flapping around in the.
Yes, they can see the bat illuminated in the moonlight. Ramos is kind of like, that's Hazel. What's he doing? So you're flapping. That one has noticed you.
Mhm.
He's kind of settling in for a pounce. The other one is looking at the camp. And so, at this moment, those of you guys in the camp suddenly see two sources of this strange bioluminescent light illuminate. One blue and one green. The blue one, you can see now its form illuminated, is this large creature. Image is going on our Discord right now. This large creature is the blue one is looking at Azel and is kind of in a pounce, kind of a crouched position, looking up at the bat. And the green one is staring directly at you as it leaps into the air to attack. So I'm going to roll my D3. That is Fang. So Fang, it's going to get a single attack.
Oh, sorry. Before
Actually, it's going to get a single action before you get, since it's technically an attack to surprise you. But then we'll roll initiative. Yes, Mike.
does it come within 10 feet of me as it pounces in?
Y'all are around the campfire, which I assume is no more than like 10 feet around.
Is that a yes then?
That would be a yes.
Okay, so as it approaches me, I'm going to use my reaction to Eldritch Blast it.
You will get your chance after it gets to do its attack, since it's technically surprising. It'll have you do initiative.
Oh,
Then we'll start with your reaction.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we'll start with your reaction. So it's not attempting to bite you; it's jumping forward, and everyone within 30 feet that is currently seeing, except for its companion, I need you guys to roll a Constitution saving throw. As all of a sudden, this creature, you are currently immune, Azel, but currently this creature, you see its bioluminescence suddenly surge in a bright outward flash of this insanely bright green light.
9 for me.
Eramos and May and Deja, you guys do not succeed. Fang does. Way to go, Fang. So,
Okay.
Fang, you kind of take it and blink away the bright flashes of light. Everyone else, you are blinded
Oh.
for 2 rounds as this bright flash of light puts these huge after images all over your vision. If you do not have dark vision, you'll get a chance to roll to get out of the save in 1 round.
Okay.
Since your eyes are a little bit less sensitive.
Love it.
The one time it pays not to have dark vision.
Yes, that's why I like this creature. All right. So, May, go ahead and make your Eldritch Blast attempt.
Cool. All right. So I guess I'm doing it at disadvantage now because I'm blinded.
That was why I had to make sure you went afterwards.
Yeah. So first is 13 and the second ray is 18.
13 first one does not hit, but the second one does.
Okay.
The 18 does hit.
So I will come back here. So 11 points of damage and he gets pushed back to 10 feet.
10 feet.
Yeah.
Well, it takes 11 points of damage. Got you. And it gets pushed back 10 feet, so it gets pushed back into the grass. All right. Now I'm going to have everyone roll initiative. Call out your initiative. No need to put it in the chat for me.
Ooh, not 20.
I had already put it in the chat. That's what I got. But my roll was very similar for my saving throws as well. So
22 for Deja.
I got
19,
18.
18, 22. Wow. You can, if you want to have Ramos join the fight, you may, Jace. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that he's going to attempt to kind of slink into the grass and try and stay out of sight.
he'd probably fire shots at them, like behind cover, every once
We'll
in a
have
while.
him share your initiative for the purposes of today. It'll make your
Okay.
life a little bit easier. All right. So we have Mike going first, and then we have Fang, and then we have the blue creature, then we have Azel, and then the green, the one that originally attacked. In that order. Mike, Fang, blue, Azel, green. Thank you, Azel.
Cool.
Appreciate it. All right. So, Deja, you got your reaction, and now you get to take your attack, and you get another reaction on top of it, since it's officially a new round.
So
This green creature has been pushed into the grass, so it is a
Mhm.
tiny bit obscured.
I am going to prepare a spell and then hold it and ask Sir Fen to zoom up into the air and give me a kind of layout of where everybody is. And then once he replies with that information, I'm going to cast the spell.
remind me, Mike, you're more familiar with the familiar spells. Does commanding your familiar, is it considered a bonus action or a...
It's not an action.
I had to double check.
They have free will. That doesn't require any actions
It's
or
just speaking.
resources. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
I
speak
said
to
double
him.
check.
Yep. So get him to like fly up and kind of get a bird's eye view of the battlefield so that I can cast the spell effectively.
Pretty easy for him to see what's going on and communicate the area back to you. Plus, they're kind of glowing at the moment. They have some sort of bioluminescence that they've activated. They're giving out 10 feet of bright light and 10 feet of dim light.
Are they clumped?
They are roughly 15 feet apart.
Okay, cool. So this is a 30-foot cube spell.
It will catch Brad. Just saying.
I'll descend it into the earth so that the cube only catches the creatures on the surface.
That's your guys' daily warning to mind your partners.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm casting Hypnotic Pattern. Create a twisting pattern of colors that weaves through the air in a 30-foot radius. Essentially, they make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed, the creature becomes charmed for the duration while charmed. By the spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0. And yeah, the spell ends for the affected creature if it takes any damage or if someone else uses an action to shake the creature out of its stupor.
Go ahead.
You get to roll. Wisdom save DC 15. I figure that these guys aren't wise.
First one makes it.
What?
Second one makes it.
Oh.
Bad luck. Bad luck. They both rolled over 14, and they have a +5 to wisdom.
I will use my reaction to cast Silvery Barbs.
That is a reaction spell. How would you like to use Silvery Barbs?
So, the one that's below me, I guess, that I was kind of getting ready to pounce at me.
Here's the one problem. Silvery Barbs is a verbal component spell. You're currently a bat, unable to speak. I'm not certain if
true.
read the Witch's spell, Witch's Ring. I don't know if you can release it as a bonus action, but you would not be able to
It
use
doesn't
that spell
have-
until you...
It doesn't have an action or anything tied to it. It just has a time. So
But it is verbal.
I think it's just
Yeah.
vague.
Yeah, we'll say you can dismiss it as a bonus action, but this is still a verbal component spell. I won't make you burn a spell slot for it.
Would you let
So-
me do it and turn back to human? Or elven?
You know what? We'll make this a cinematic roll. Roll me an Arcana check. If you can beat 12, I'll let you do it. But you will turn into human in the air.
That's what I was gonna do next anyways.
Okay. But
It's gonna
you'll
be-
not be landing. You'll be instantly going poof in the air while you do it.
Yes.
So roll your Arcana check. Tell me if you beat 12. What'd you get?
7.
Okay. 7. Per our cinematic vintage rules, you didn't make it. So instead of imposing some sort of weird disadvantage on you, what I'm going to do is you do not get the spell out, and you do not miraculously turn into a human in the middle of the air and take fall damage.
Okay.
You just burn the spell slot.
All right.
All right. And then
I burned the spell
Better
slot
than
though.
falling the 20 feet and taking the damage for nothing.
I'm going to use
All right.
I'm going to use one of my bonus action elemental gift and fly 30 feet up in the air.
30 feet up in the air. Fascinating. All right, 30 feet up. You fly up into the air. We can see everything. Fang, you've seen
Should've
you
done
see
that
us some
first
spells
anyways.
flying. You hear a bat up. The bat making a strange squeaking sound. Fang, what would you do?
So there's one that's directly in front of me.
And one 15 feet to the right of that.
Okay.
One that's currently kind
Um,
of in a pouncing position.
So Fang is going to put his hand out towards the one that's directly in front of him, and he is going to begin to twist his hand as if he is choking it, and he is going to cast Blight. So that's going to be a Constitution saving throw for him.
The one in front of you is green. The one that is kind of pounced is blue. Which color did you choose?
The one right in front of me, so green.
Right in front of you? The green. All right. Green is right in front of you. Taking a little cue from our suggestion from Mike in our handed in a Discord chat, batting distinguishing features. So a blight saving throw. What is the DC?
It is 15.
15. Here we go. Is that considered necrotic damage?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he did not make it. He got a 12. So go ahead and lay that damage on me.
All right, give me a second. Still got to roll.
I know there's like 7 D12s, I think, in there. It's that spell that almost took out Augie if you hadn't counterspelled it at just the right moment.
So that's 47 points of damage.
Woo! Very good. You reach out your hand and do this kind of twisting, choking look, and all of a sudden you see this creature scream out in pain, this horrible sound. And you could see huge chunks of his skin just basically dissolve into the air and float away, leaving these not quite gashes, but more like dissolved holes all along its back, as huge chunks of its flesh basically turn into dust as they're supernaturally aged.
Dang.
The blue creature, having seen this, is going to turn. It's going to see Fang with his hand still extended, and it is going to leap forward and attempt to bite you. This creature does have a tail as well, so watch out for that tail. So this creature jumps forward and is going to attempt to bite. 16 plus 8 is 24. Does that hit?
Yeah, 24 hits.
He's decided the bat is not worth the trouble at the moment. 24 hits. All right. Will you take 26 points of piercing damage as its teeth sink deep into your shoulder, kind of finding the gaps in your armor and pushing through? And as the thing bites you, you could feel an intense burning sensation. And as it kind of tosses your head back and forth and releases you, it steps back. No, actually, never mind. It bites you. I was reading the attack action. You're medium size. It bites you, and you can feel the attack burn. And you take an additional 10 points of acid damage. Now, please make a strength saving throw as it attempts to hold you in its grasp.
I am a lucky SOB because my strength saving throw is -1, but I rolled an 18, so that's a total of 17.
All right, it's attempting to bite you, and you reach up, grab its mouth, and just enough force you manage to pop it loose and toss its head to the side, and you are not grappled. Congratulations.
Woo.
However, you did take 26 points of piercing damage and 10 points of acid damage. All right, that's that blue creature. Azel, you're a bat. What do you intend to do?
I'm going to fly above one of them. I think the one that just attacked Fang. And
Okay, so you're going
I'm
to fly up above the blue one that was looking
fly
at you.
up
Got
above,
it.
yeah, up above them. I'm going to turn into my elven form
Poof.
directly above them and fall on them, drawing my short sword. And if I'm not hidden, I would try to hide in the air. I don't know if I need
Let's
to
just
do
say
anything
that
for that or not.
let's just say that per the sneak attack rules of Dungeons and Dragons is currently have one of your allies next to it. Its ally is 10 feet away in the grass, and you just jumped at it from behind. You're officially flanking. You would get your sneak attack damage. You don't need to hide.
Okay. Do I get advantage because I was kind of hidden?
You
I'm
technically
dropping
don't
in from the
need
sky.
it. I
But I
would
get
give you
to
the
roll the
advantage.
die twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still get sneak attack either way. But
You'd still get the sneak
Okay.
attack if you hit.
okay.
I've been reading up on sneak attack mechanics for our next campaign. By the way, remember to keep listening to the Tale Untold podcast because campaign number 2 will be commencing in a few weeks.
Oh, I'm excited.
Gonna be. All right, go ahead, roll your attack.
That is a 25 to hit.
Yes. You go ahead and attack the blue with your damage.
Oh, and I get a d4. Sorry, this is the first time using this new weapon.
No problem.
So, whilst he's doing that,
Good.
I just want to clarify. We're not sleeping in our armor, right? Or are we?
You're out in the middle of the wild and you were told this is a dangerous place, so I'm going to assume you were sleeping in your armor. Maybe you have some straps that were unbuckled, but
Okay.
Ramos woke you. You had plenty of time to tighten them up and be ready to go.
Okay. I was assuming that I was more or less bare because
If you were in a town and attacked in the middle of a tavern, it might be different. Since you're out in the wild, I assume you're probably sleeping in your armor. Go ahead. What'd you get for your damage?
That is 18 points of damage.
Before sneak attack?
That's for
total?
sneak attack. It was not a great sneak attack.
All right.
Lots of twos.
It's the falling through the air. It's a little hard to place the
Yeah,
point of
so
your
then-
sword as accurately as you possibly can.
So my intent is to then also attack with my dagger just as a bonus action. And I kind of want to stay on this thing and be kind of like mounting it with my... This is how I picture it in my head. My
Here's what I'm
intent
going to say.
is to stab these into its back and be kind of on it.
I love it. So here's what I'm going to say. Dexterity, roll, straight dexterity, or you can do acrobatics to maintain your hold on its back. If you can get the roll, then you can definitely go for your second attack without having to have a free hand to grab on.
Awesome.
Because otherwise, in order to stay on it, you'd have to use a free
Yeah.
hand to hold on to it.
It being dexterous. Wait, was this dexterity, acrobatics?
Acrobatics or dexterity, your choice.
I think both will do, but it's fun to say 27.
You were legitimately riding this thing, legs over its shoulders, gripping with your thighs as you're stabbing it over and over into the head. I may make you make another roll next round.
Sure. Or
Um,
not in a saddle or anything.
yeah,
Okay, and then attack with the dagger.
yes.
It's another 27 to hit.
Holy crap.
I rolled a 19.
I might
on
ask
that
you to
one.
change dice.
I have been. Could.
You
Yeah.
have.
Uh-huh.
You don't want them to heat up.
And then, that's just another 2 damage. I don't get to add.
Just another 2.
Just
That
for
does
good measure.
happen.
I forget.
Does
I also-
happen sometimes. It's bucking and trying to get you off, of course, so it's a little hard to aim, but you do manage to slice it. Love it.
That ought to be my turn.
All right.
Whew.
The green creature that was attacked by Fang and that May attempted to dazzle is going to rush back into the fray now. He sees the one creature that is not actively engaged in doing something, Ramas, and he's going to attempt to kind of leap through the group at Ramas. So, as it makes this attack, it will incur an attack of opportunity from Mike. Remember, you are blinded for one more round. So, it will be, so make sure you roll that with disadvantage. Fang, it'll also pass you by as an attempt to get to Ramas, so you can make an attack of opportunity as well.
17 and 18 for my attacks.
I
You
got
get
a
2 attacks of
16.
opportunity.
Well, Eldritch Blast is 1 attack, but they're 2 rays.
All 3 of those will hit, so go ahead and roll your damage. This is going to be simultaneous as it attempts to bite Ramas. Gotta look at my stats
Dang.
here. 9 plus 8, 17. Will 17 be enough to hit Ramas?
Well, he's going to fly up into the air. And then he's going to get pushed back down to the ground, prone.
A 17 would hit Ramas, but I just did a heck of a lot of damage there, so...
It is.
don't
That's
think-
why I'm asking if it's going to hit, because I'm going to see if we can't do the damage first, see if he even gets there. With the pushing blast, I believe that you can only do one effect of your Eldritch invocations at one time, so either pulling or pushing.
Well, one ray's pulling up, and the other way will be pushing down.
I'm not 100% certain, but I believe in the errata they said you can only have one invocation.
I think the invocation only works on the first. On the first bolt.
The pulling one only is on... So the Grasp of the Dar is once in each of your turns when you hit a creature with your Eldritch Blast, you can move that creature in a straight
Yeah,
line
just
10
once.
feet closer to you. Repelling Blast, on the other hand, is when you hit a creature with Eldritch Blast, you can push the creature up to 10 feet away in a straight line. So the Repelling Blast is unqualified. Grasp of the Dar is only once per
Okay.
turn.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, his specific thing. He's right, which is awesome. Go for it. So you're first going to push him up in the air.
Pull him up in the air 10 feet, and then I'm going to blast him down 10 feet, doing 20 points of damage with the Eldritch Blasts. And then whatever landing damage, falling damage he gets.
Kind of slam him to the ground.
And
And
the damage that you just did, Fang, as it tried to surge past you towards your cousin.
I did 21.
Woo! Over
So-
40 points of damage with reactions.
You push it down into the ground. It technically is prone. However, it only uses half of its movement to jump, so it has enough movement to stand up. As it stands up, Fang slashes it across its side, opening up a big wound in its leg, and it kind of stumbles and it screams again. Now with these pockmarks in its back from Fang's spell and slashes in its on its legs from his blade, and 2 giant craters blasted from Eldritch Blasts into its hide. It's just roaring out in pain, this horrible. But it is still going to attack Ramas. So the question is, does a 17 hit Ramas?
Yeah, 17 definitely hits Ramos.
Okay.
Tried to save Ramos.
You did try. So here we go. 1, 2, 12 points of piercing damage as it bites, and a 10 points of acid damage. So 12 and 10, 22. It bites down on Ramos's shoulder, and the acid bite of this creature just sears through Ramos's. This horrible burning pain hits him as his flesh is seared away. Ramos needs to make a DC 16 strength save.
That's a 17.
Ramos also just barely manages to push the creature off of him enough that its teeth now are scraping off the armor as he pushes it aside.
He
All
is
right.
going to look at that creature, and his eyes are just going to flare. They're going to change from blue just to a deep red. And I can't do this anymore because I'm not a tiefling, so he does not cast Hellish Rebuke, but he thought about it.
He wanted to cast Hellish Rebuke. It was in him, and he went to go push the spell, and it just kind of went, there's nothing here.
Flop.
You're not a spellcaster anymore. So the place in your mind where you used to be able to pull that magic from feels kind of empty.
I should probably give him a different ratio bonus.
If you want to, you can grab Magic Initiate feat and give him some Warlock spells if you like. That would make
No,
sense
That's
narratively.
okay. He'll be gone as soon as he can be gone, so
Oh, well.
I'm not worried.
All right, top of the round, Mike.
All right.
You are no longer blinded.
Woohoo!
Your eyes clear as you blink
Yay.
away the after images, and now you see these creatures clearly. They are 2 huge theropod creatures, slightly Velociraptor, T-Rex hybrid looking, glowing with bioluminescent dots up and down their back and in rings on their tails.
How bright is the bioluminescence?
Currently, it is only bright light for 10 feet and dim light for another 10 feet.
Okay.
Is not blinding yet.
I'm wondering if I cast Fog Cloud, would they still be relatively visible with their glow? Like, is it bright enough to be able to, if you were like next to them, to be able to see them? They're glowing dots.
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering if this is a good thing, as we're getting hammered down on the ground there. This would give you guys some advantage on not getting hit. And plus give Azel maximum stabbing capacity. So I'm going to do that. Instead of casting a spell to do damage, I'm going to cast Fog Cloud over the encampment using my armor's ability. That's Fog Cloud at a 2nd level, which means it's like 40-foot radius, 80-foot diameter sphere of fog descends upon our encampment surrounding everything. And
You said
So-
80 feet?
yeah, 80 foot.
I had to double check.
I'll move just outside the range of the blue. So that if it kind of circles around at all, if either of them circle around at all, then they will get within my threat range. So I'll kind of go
So
in the
you're
middle.
playing. So you're placing yourself where again? Just for my own.
How far
tracking.
away are the monsters from each other?
Oh, they're only like 10 feet away apart from each other now.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter. I don't think I'll be able to use my reaction. Anyways, I'll just kind of stay hovering over near both of them in case one of them decides to bolt or move.
And it's an 80-foot sphere of
Yeah.
fog, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So technically, you are also inside the fog.
Yeah, but I can
For
see through
clarity.
it.
I know you can see through it. I'm just saying.
I absolutely want to be inside the fog. All right, so
All right.
now they all have disadvantage on attacks, and we have advantage on attacks against them.
All right, Fang, it is your turn.
All right. I am going to fire Eldritch Blasts at the one that is closer to Ramos. Which one is that?
Green.
The green one, yes.
The green one. Okay, so I'm going to shoot Eldritch Blasts at the green one. I got a natural 20,
Hot dang.
and then I got a 17. So close to two natural
Yeah.
20s. All right, well,
the green one that you're shooting at, both of those will hit. So give me your damage all together.
all right, this is going to take a minute. So
That's
there's
going to take a minute. So, technically, yeah, you have advantage at the moment because they're lit up. So, you see this fog cloud descend, but you can still see the glowing bright lights of this creature in front of you. So it's kind of hard to miss. And you fire off your Eldritch Blast, and this big green blast that twins itself right next door, or another arcane portal, shoots forth from your hand and sails forth, and you can see it hit the creature. The creature scream out in pain. What is your grand total damage?
28.
Sweet.
How do you want to do this?
Nice.
So I'm going to fire the first Eldritch Blast, which is going to push it back with the repelling blast. And then I'm just going to follow one up, and it is going to take shape looking exactly like the creature, but larger, and just kind of engulf it and just poof,
Vaporize it?
just vaporize it.
Poof.
Sweet.
Yeah, you fire off this blast. The first one hits it, and you can see it stumble. And for a second, as it looks at you, you can even see in its animalistic eyes true fear as it realizes that it has picked the fight with the wrong people. It almost looks as if it's going to try and turn and run when your second Eldritch Blast, empowered by your fury of everything that's been happening with your father and the Empress and the plague, all is pushed into one blow as your Eldritch Blast surges forward, engulfing its whole body. And as the light fades, there's nothing left but two smoking footprints.
They always choose to run too late.
That's my brother.
The blue one, son of a gun. The blue one's going to stand and fight. I rolled on it to see if it would attempt to flee. It decided not to. So,
Fang looks at it and starts licking his lips.
you know what? Go ahead and make an intimidation roll. Given what you just did, I think I'll allow it before he goes.
It's an 18.
Oh, it's freaked out. This creature looks around at you, and as you lick your lips, you can see it shrink a little bit, or at least you think you can see it shrink. You mostly see the dots of it kind of fall back as it sees your arcanely illuminated face shine through the mist. And it's going to take the disengage action and take
No.
off in a dead run into the night.
Yeah, I'm going to take pot shots at it.
I'm still on it, aren't I?
Yes, with Thomas.
Thomas
You
is
are
still
still on it.
Azel.
It's going to attempt to
Azel's
run.
still on the back.
So it moves 40 feet and around. So Azel, is now your turn. Would that incur an attack of opportunity? That's an interesting question.
It's not leaving my threat range
Yeah.
because I'm still in it.
So
Yeah,
no.
you're right. I'm just think that's like an interesting situation. Okay. You're still riding it as it takes off into the night, having watched its mate just be incinerated by some sort of hellish creature.
I think I would stab it again twice. Do I have advantage for it being on its back?
It now knows you're there, but you're technically in a spot.
Because
You know
I'm
what?
not hidden, but
You know what? Yeah, you do. Go ahead.
okay.
He's riding the thing.
I know. It's the whole thing of he's riding it, but there's also the acrobatics check involved if he wants to
Let's
stay
do the
on it.
same roll. That is a 19 to hit,
Yeah.
24 to hit.
Yeah. Those will both hit. And since you have advantage, technically, you get sneak attack bonus. So have fun with that.
He's just at the edge of the fog now.
25 damage.
Nice.
Grand total?
Yeah.
25. This creature is bleeding actively and it looks a little rough. It's technically considered bloodied as you get your two blades into it. It is at a dead clipped run. Do you want to stay on it? It's a question I have. You can. It's up to you.
I'm gonna hop off, and if it can attack of opportunity me, but I will hop off
It
and
took the disengage action and is running. It's not going to take the opportunity for an attack of opportunity. It's attempting to flee the action.
I figured.
So as you hop off, since it is at a dead run and it is technically a huge creature, I'm going to need you to roll an acrobatics save.
Okay.
Not save, acrobatics check.
25.
Yeah.
You land definitely like a dancer and even do a little bit of a pirouette at the end.
Good. I think I would kind of backflip off, and then
Yeah.
pull out my bow to kind of ready a shot at it once it gets off.
Oh, Fang is just sprinting behind it, throwing Eldritch Blast, just pot shots at it. Just not even aiming.
Yeah.
What's the range on Eldritch Blast? 60 feet?
120 feet.
120.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Mike,
We're gonna, yeah.
this creature, the only thing it has done since it took off running, it has turned off its bioluminescence as
Oh.
it's attempted to run, which it can do as a bonus action. So it is a little bit more difficult to see. However, it's not attempting to be stealthy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna.
So, Mike, as you're flying, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
As Azel like jumped off this thing so amazingly dexterously, May would she would say, "All right, Azel, you stuck that landing. Wow, 10 points." And then she's gonna turn around and lights up her hands with Eldridge power eyes, glowing just ever so gently, and kind of the cold mist falling from her eyes, and she's gonna blast this thing with Eldritch Blast as well from up above.
Roll your damage.
23 and a 22 to hit, which I presume they both do. And 8 plus 8 plus 3, so 19 points of damage. And I'll pull it back 10 feet up into the air, just
It's
a
running,
little
and
bit.
all of a sudden it's just yanked backwards. You can see its claws digging in as it's attempting to maintain its pace and being drug. Bang, your attempt to make pot shots at it, you may do so. It is at range. It is running through the dark, but you're an orc, so you don't have any problem seeing it. So go ahead.
I just rolled twice. I need to find my bonus.
Finish him.
I'm not sure that I hit him both times. I got a 15 on one and a 14 on the other.
15 is the AC, and I assume you have more than a +1.
Yeah.
So you definitely hit.
So that one is going to do 8 damage. And then the other one is going to do more than that. 15.
15.
Yeah, so one did the lowest amount of damage and one did the highest amount of damage. Well, not
So-
exactly.
Your first one zaps out, and you can hit it, and you see the creature stumble a tiny bit as it gets hit. And then as it takes up running, and your second one zings out and hits it in the back of its head, you see a big puff of smoke sing up from its head, as its head gently explodes from the force, and it slides forward at a dead run, headless, through the grass. Just
Oh, it's a good thing you weren't on there, Hazel. That was quite the crash you had.
Fang with 2 kill shots in one fight. Way to go.
I'm back.
Yes, he's
Hazel's
back.
got his bow ready. He was like lining up his shot, and then he saw it kind of get jolted to the side and then hit twice. And he's like, you can see his kind of excitement going like, man, I had that one.
Well, just think about it. It's in 6 seconds. You land, you take out your bow, you get an arrow, you're laying up a really good shot, and all of a sudden, two 4 Eldritch Blasts just hit this thing, and it slides headless through the grass a good, like, 10 feet.
I would have had it sooner if you hadn't pulled it around with the magic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I always do that. Oh. And she's like slowly floating to the ground. Uh, Hazel. Oh, I'm sorry. You forgive me?
Yeah.
I need a nap. And he's going to throw up a little bit of blood.
Yes, I think you and Ramas both got the worst end of that. For the record, I was rolling d4s to see who got targeted. You said the bad luck of getting bit twice.
That's all right. I had the good luck of rolling a critical, so it all evens out.
At least no one is weakened today. So, the creatures are dead. The night is quiet. The last watch patches uneventfully with Sir, what's his name?
Sir Fen?
Sir Fen.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not Sir Fang. Sir Fen is but that's such an ironic choice of name. Just saying. He keeps the watch for you guys so you guys can get some sleep after that fight. Since you guys had your long rest interrupted by a fight, you do not get the benefit of a full rest. You do, however, get the benefit of a short rest. Unless any of you have elvish ancestry, in which case you get the benefit of a full rest in 4 hours instead of 8.
I
That
was
would
just
be
about to
Hazel.
say, I totally forgot that I only need 4 hours.
You're already well rested.
I
No.
should have taken a longer watch, probably. I should take more of these watches.
Between you and Sir Fen, you could probably do the deed. Oh, it's all right. You know, I'll just pop into my sanctuary while we're walking today, and I'll have a nap. It's good.
I assume your sanctuary is just filled with strange pillows of various sizes and colors.
Yeah, it's got like a workstation and like a bookshelf and like a little armoire, and then it's just pillows everywhere else.
Do you feel the effects of gravity while you're in there? So, like, as the ring is being jostled, it's slightly rocking a little bit.
I don't think so. It's like it's a pocket dimension thing.
Oh, I was gonna say you get a really good nap from the rocking.
Yeah.
Hold you very level as we walk.
Sir Fen will just
You're surfing.
fly around. He's not a real person. He's an imaginary creature, so he doesn't mind doing extra work, carrying me around.
All right. You guys continue on, and it only takes about, I think about 3 o'clock. The city is within view, and by about 4 o'clock, you are definitely coming up on this city. As you get there, the city looks significantly less secure compared to the capital. There's some farms you guys pass through on your way in with people kind of a little surprised to see people walking from the wastes. But the fact that you guys are only slightly bloodied, they're like, well, I'll be. They're not dead or in seriously bad condition. A couple people walk up to you. Did your airship go down? Are you all right? I mean, what happened?
Thank you for asking after us. That's so sweet. Yeah, we were out there. We're ranchers, and we had our herd out there, wandering around, nibbling at the grass, and we got ambushed by some. Would I know the name of these creatures?
You would. You'll find it waiting for you in your chat.
Oh, wow. Okay. Way to make a hard word for me to pronounce.
I'm gonna let you decide how to pronounce it.
Oh, by Anjananth. Anjananth. Yeah, and it killed the whole herd. Except for the last one, oh, poor Bessie, she was just bleeding. I had to, give her the mercy. That's why we're all covered in blood. We managed to fend them off mostly, but it's a tragedy.
All right. Now, May, as they're kind of like, okay, let you guys walk into town. You know that there is a stop on the Underground Railroad of sorts for magic users here. Would you like to get in contact with your group, or would you like to continue through and head for the hills, so to speak?
I don't know. You guys want to book
Let's
it or resupply here for? I guess we need to get some provisions and such. We're gonna be mostly on foot for the next little while, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling fine, but maybe we should let them know what's coming and get you guys a nice night of rest.
Food first.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty good place for us to bunk up. They usually keep their own fairly safe.
Can one of you point me to the nearest tavern? I'll say to the kind of people we were talking to.
They're like, tavern? There's one in town.
One's enough for me.
Okay, well, if you insist, the Frisky Goblin is just about 1 block that way. And he points,
Perfect, thank you.
yeah. So there you go.
What time of day is it?
It
Thanks.
is currently about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, about 4:30 once you're really in town.
Okay, not too bad. Thought it was gonna be like 10 in the morning or something.
Not quite. Although, you never know with a tavern.
Yeah, Azel will go rest up. No, normally these big hubs they got a mark somewhere where it lets us get in touch with people like us. So tavern's normally a good place to go to find some indication. Plus, I could use a drink.
I think we all could use a drink. Gosh, it has been a hard few days. Yeah. Yes. Find out you have a brother. Brother turns into his cousin, and father kills father, and then make him alive, and then yeah. I
Hazel.
need about 10 drinks.
Yeah, Azel hearing the recounting of the family tree again, he's like already given up on trying to understand it. And he's just hearing it again. He's like, eyes are rolling. He just picks up his pace and walks faster.
Yeah, the drinks will be on me.
It's Ramos really excited about no longer being bound to Fang's body.
Oh no, he's
Oh,
gonna use
yes.
his coin. His
Yes,
coins.
he
That's
is.
right.
Rip off
I forget
everyone.
I gave you that coin.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 gold pieces goes a long way.
Especially with drink and food.
All right. You walk into the tavern. There's not a big crowd in there because it's still a little bit before dinner time, but there's a couple of people in there, catching a quick drink, trying to be home before their wives are after them, the early crowd. There's one guy there with his young son. His young son has a glass of milk, looking very happy, while he's sitting there daintily trying to drink a flask of ale slowly, like conspicuously slowly, because he doesn't want to be downing it in front of his son. The owner of the establishment, let me grab my, the owner of the establishment is, and 16. Oh, come on.
What, you haven't fleshed out this entire city with like tavern owners and
I'll chat
everything
it.
ahead of time?
I find it more fun to build it in situ sometimes. Valchedit
I jest.
is
They'll chisel.
the person in charge. Valchedit is a interesting person. He appears to be of halfling height, but he looks to be kind of a weird mix of gnome and half orc. It's kind of an interesting mix. He's not super short, but he's got the long gnomish pointed ears, and He does not have the typical halfling open, hairy feet. He's dressed kind of normally, but the two big tusks are hard to miss on his otherwise gnomish, enlarged gnomish features.
Welcome. I don't have much on stock besides ale, for those of you that appear to be fancier folk, but of course, ale and food can be procured. If you're looking for a room, I only have one, unfortunately. There's not many travelers that come through.
Let's start with the ale. Ale will do for me.
Fill up them cups.
He takes 4 tankards, fills them up with this very frothy looking ale where it's actively dripping down the sides. He's not careful at all about filling them carefully. Slams them on the counter, pushes them forward. But before he lets go of the handles, he puts out his hand for the coin.
I see you do not want to be tipped. And I just hand him 1 gold coin.
He takes it. His eyes kind of blinking and shaking his head like, what?
I am expecting
it's,
change, thank you.
He takes it. He bites on it a little bit. All right. Puts it in his breast pocket, so it's right next to his shirt. And he reaches under the counter, pulls out a small drawer of silvers and gold and coppers. 4 ales, automatic gratuity.
Just keep it.
Here you are. 4 silver. Tink, tink, tink. He clatters them on the table, lets go of the ales, and walks away.
That's some rather expensive ale. A silver a cup?
As you
He's
look down
ripping
the
us
way,
off.
you see him refill the guy drinking with his son next to him, and the guy just slips him a single copper piece. You get the feeling that the fact that you threw a gold piece at him, he figures you can afford it.
Tourist tax.
The tourist tax, if you will. As you're standing there, you watch the weight in his pocket from the gold coin suddenly ease as it disappears back into Fang's hand. Interestingly, it does not have the tooth marks on it from him biting it,
Nice.
since it basically goes through some sort of nether realm. You get your ale. It is not the highest quality. If you had to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, it would be solidly rated as piss water. However, it still has alcohol in it, which is really all you cared about.
Hazel's gonna walk over to the bar. Like I just picture him getting his beer right next to the kid with his dad. The dad is trying to like sip it, and Hazel's just gonna down it and then order another one.
The kid looks a little aghast. Oh. And the father kind of looks at you. But you didn't know the crazies showed up until after 6.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Did he want one? I'll get him one.
Boy's eyes
Looks
lit
like
up.
he's only
Ring.
drinking milk. That seems. You know they got beer here, right?
A refill is handed to you, and one of the silver pieces that was on the counter, he just reaches back and swipes it back into his little drawer.
As soon as he leaves the counter, I am going to take more silver pieces.
You're gonna put more on the counter?
No, I'm going to steal from him because he's a jerk.
You can attempt to sleight of hand steal, however, it's gonna be a rather high check considering there's other people in here.
That's fine. I'm Ramos right now. I don't
I
fail these.
know what Ramos is doing. I'm calling it as an 18.
Ramos don't care.
Let's see. Ramos's modifier to sleight of hand. Yeah, that is a 19.
You manage to reach over, like you casually knock your ale over because I don't think Ramos would deign to drink this level of stuff. Oh my! You'll reach over to pick it up, and while you're doing trying to set it up, you casually reach over, pull a drawer out, grab a handful of silvers, and sit back down.
I am going to use these to pay for many, many, many drinks.
Well, you only got 16 silver in your hand. The silvers
I'm
around
going
here
to
are
use
pretty
this
small.
to pay for probably 4 or 5 more drinks.
The silvers around here are roughly the size of a D4, but flat, so you were able to grab a good chunk of them.
Yeah, we'll just be
Uh,
recycling those.
Plenty of drinks. You guys get plenty drunk as you go. Now the question is, Fang, is he drinking today?
No, Fang doesn't drink.
Okay. I keep wondering if this is eventually going to change. You never know. He's had a rough last few days.
The nightmares are still enough to stop him from wanting to drink, and there's still enough to stop him from wanting to sleep. He's gotten some closure, but the nightmares, he doesn't think they'll ever end.
We'll see.
Azel would be kind of eyeing the people. He would be looking for the most inebriated person who is wearing jewelry.
That's probably Ramas.
Yeah, there's not a lot of jewelry wearing people in this town, unfortunately. There's one dude who has a silver amulet of the Cogfather that he's wearing that is getting pretty juiced, but he's definitely not the most inebriated person in town.
Okay. Azel will just lay his head down low and kind of mutter under his breath like, "Miss the city already."
Uh, After a while, the barkeep comes up to May. No, I assume, given how late you're staying, since it's been a few hours, you're either going to be eating and then going home, or you are looking for a room. And I don't remember seeing your faces, so I assume a room is in order.
Yeah, I think we'll need some rooms. We were kind of thinking maybe find some friends in town, but given the state of inebriation, I think something local might be a little bit better.
I
Uh,
will take all of the rooms.
There's
All of
only
them.
one.
Yep, that's the one.
5 to a room, and with the amount that you've drunk, you have like gone through at least 7 tankards of ale at this point, a piece. I'm gonna say that probably going to cost about at least 1 more gold coin total for the cleanup and the extra bedding, and not to mention the airing out of the linens afterwards.
I hold my liquor very well, and then I'm just gonna throw up on his shoes on purpose.
Purposely failing a con save.
Yes.
It's now 2 gold coins.
That's
These are my
fine. I hand
favorite
him 2 gold coins. One of them's real this time. The other is fake.
He takes them, drops them in his breast pocket, looks down, expecting to hear a clink. He doesn't really hear it. Must be a hole in this somewhere. Starts like flipping out his
I mean,
shirt.
I didn't call it back right away. It's still in there.
It's still in there? Alright.
I have
You
2
still-
of them.
Yeah, you do have 2 of them. I'll let you do that. Alright, well, here. Takes out the key. The room's in the basement.
The
Down
basement.
the hall. In case you didn't notice, this isn't exactly a 2-story establishment.
I'm sure it has much more than 2 stories. And he's just gonna stumble and fall into bed.
Alright.
And then he's gonna
Stumble into
recall
bed.
his 2 coins once he's in bed.
The significantly less weightiness of his shirt is going to freak the guy out, as he's almost certain that he dropped them somewhere. So he's like actively sweeping and turning over cups and lifting up customers' cups as they're trying to set him down, looking for the coins the rest of the night. Does anyone do anything else before you go to bed?
I don't think so. Sir Fen has been sleeping for the last little while because he's been carrying Deja around all day. But at some point in the night, you'll wake up and take guard duty, watch over the door,
Alright.
make sure the greedy bartender or anyone else comes calling.
All right.
Let us know.
About 8 hours in, Sir Fen wakes up Azel, who is all too happy to get up since he was technically oversleeping at that point.
Yeah.
And Azel just throws to watch.
My witch ring is now an owl, FYI.
Okay. Jace, for Fang, I'd like you to roll a D100, please.
That's 75.
So you have a small nightmare. Your nightmare is very simple in that you dream of a giant snake slowly eating you from the feet up. Uh, which for your nightmares is actually pretty mundane. All right, y'all wake up in the morning, ready to rock and roll. You can now consider yourself full rested since you're in a safe area. Are you going to meet up with the people of the underground, or are you going to take off running for the hills to just try and get back to the Raya as fast as you can?
Well, I guess Fang is the only one with like a stake in the valley, like real
Mages
stake in the
Guild.
valley.
For now.
Yeah, and that's like half. That's
I mean,
only tentative at best.
Azel very desperately wants to get to the valley. He
Mhm.
wants a place where he can use magic without feeling like he has to be covering his tracks everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I guess part of that is saving it because the mages are
Yeah.
doing this thing. I guess there's some sense of urgency in maintaining what probably for May and Azel is like a sanctuary or like a Garden of Eden, a safe place. So there's probably a sense of urgency in that. Um,
Yeah.
I think we do like a missive drop or something to the local establishment, but I don't know if we would hang
Yeah,
around.
because I would want to tell him the information we've found that there's people that are like Thomas exists and can get people out of back to the valley through his means, and they could like send anyone who wants to go to town and where they might find him. That general information would be nice to relay to them, but maybe that's
Mhm.
just a note we write and
Yeah, letting everyone know in our like circle of trust that the Empress was an Illithid and a magic user, and there's a cabal of magic users at the top is probably a good thing too.
When you find your contact in the city, using the usual things about like waiting around near the market stalls, flipping a coin in the air, and then doing your drawing of a circle and then having to cross it. When you inform them that the Empress was actually an Illithid that had disguised themselves using magic, they are taken aback, and they actually demand that you prove it somehow, which you don't have the ability to. However, when you author to put yourself before a spellcaster to discern the truthfulness of your statements, they kind of soften. Wow, I can't believe the Empress was, well, for one, not human. Um, wow, and magic users controlling the whole thing. Oh my goodness. I don't. I'd love. I know that there's some of us that would love to escape. There's probably some of us that want to fight and reveal this and take them down. Who knows what'll happen? But I'll pass the information on. And he kind of walks away into the marketplace and disappears.
awesome.
Are we sure we can trust these people?
Well, we rely on each other to not have us turned in and brutally eviscerated and tortured and such. So, yeah, as much as one human being can trust another, I'd say so.
It makes sense why the society at large, at least on the surface, hates magic users, considering that now that you know that there's a long-standing cultural bias against magic users because the plague was caused by magic users. That particular detail has been lost over the generations, but the hatred has held on.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I think we gave them those details, but not like specifics about relationships and such. Like, yeah, we're like the kin of the
Yeah.
emperor's chosen nobility, whatever.
Leave that out.
Yeah, we leave out those personal details. Just like we're passing on gossip from the from the Mages Guild in
All right.
Capital. Or not gossip, but the intel.
All right. They manage. You guys find it pretty easy with Fang's disappearing coin to get yourself enough provisions to last you roughly 20 days between all of you. It helps that you can stash some of them in Deja's
Sanctuary, yeah.
sanctuary.
Yep.
So 20 days worth for all 4 of you that are traveling. You take off, heading to the northwest, where Tiburon had indicated. And as you're going, he kind of given you a map with rough, like, if you're looking at the cleft of Balor, then that's on your left. You should be able to just, like, he gives you, like, some instructions, like, you should be able to just see a little sliver of it. And if you look to your right, you should be able to see this mountain, which is tall and has a peak shaped like this, and it happens to be the tallest in the area. And if those two are roughly equidistant, straight ahead, you'll find the tomb. You guys are going to spend a couple weeks traveling through this. Let's say not a couple weeks. Let's say that it takes you roughly 10 days of solid marching to get to the foot of the mountains.
We can maybe speed that up by traveling on the back of a giant flying ape for some time.
For parts
I
of
had
it,
considered that. That's why it's not taking you 2 weeks.
flying by invisible giant ape each
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
For,
Well, not invisible. There's no one around to see you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Disguised as a
So
cloud.
it only takes like 2 or 3 days before you're definitely far outside of the Remnant Empire. Every day getting a good 30-mile jumps. You guys are managing to cover like 50 miles a day if you're really pushing it. You guys spend roughly about 10 days pushing before you're coming up to the base of the mountains. Is there anything you wish to accomplish in those 10 days that I need to know about?
think so.
Sounds like a no to me.
So when she's not, like, during the day, I think what would happen is during the day, she spends her hour, or Deja spends her hour turning into a giant ape, and then for the rest of the traveling, she goes into her sanctuary and chills out there. And I think for those 10 days, she's brewing healing potions in her sanctuary and reading a few books and making cocktails and just doing some downtime stuff because, well, she can, and that's the beautiful thing about the genie's vessel. For 8 hours a day, I can chill during travel.
Can't we all do that?
Can we all go into the lamp?
At level 11, I could, but we're never gonna get there, so
Not in this campaign.
no, not in this
No.
campaign. So that's a little bit tragic because that'd be cool because we could all it'd be like flying first class. Just have Sir Fen flying all day with us in the cushy sanctuary, sipping drinks and doing downtime activities. Man, you could get a lot of level ups on your skills and such.
Can you like rest faster in that too?
Again, at level 10 or
eventually.
level 11, when I get
Uh-huh.
the sharing feature, it reduces like a short rest to like 10 minutes or something like that.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Because then I could also take shifts with Sir Fen, turning into like a bat or something, and just be constantly flying.
You guys are just always moving.
I mean, you
You
could
guys are the
turn
fastest.
you could turn into like a rat or a bat or something and then just relax on somebody's back for 8 hours.
Right, but I could keep flying it while Sir Fen rests. and
Right.
then he pops out and keeps going.
Yeah,
Um,
you could
but
tag team it.
hilarious.
All right. You guys get to the base of the mountain and you head up a path you guys can see made of old stone steps. They're in a pretty serious state of disrepair. It takes a little bit of time to climb because every once in a while a step will come loose and you'll trip and They'll be sent flying backwards. The people behind you, almost taking them out.
Azel
It's
would
not
be
easy to climb.
Azel would be molding earth to like try to level out the steps, kind of pieces at a time, straightening
Yeah.
out the really gnarly bits.
Every once in a while, there's just one bit that's just too damaged over the time, it just crumbles. But it's not as bad as it could be. No one's breaking ankles. It's just like as you step off of it, it kind of breaks and tumbles off the side of the precipice.
Okay.
All right.
Is
Let me pull
this
this up.
what is the like surroundings like at this point? Is it still kind of grassy plains? Is it well now we're getting up a mountain, is it like forested at this point? Or is it
So you're on the mountains. It's starting to be roughly forested at this point. For Azel and May, this is a unique experience. You've never been in the forests. May has seen the forests from the cleft of Balor, but you've never been in them.
Yeah, I've seen these tall, pointy spears that come out of the ground. What are they called? Hazel, you know these kind of things. These
Yeah,
tall spears coming out of the ground.
they're trees. It's just I've seen trees before, just not like this.
Oh yeah, but I mean they're so big. I mean,
They got trees planted in the city, but yeah, they don't get this tall, do they?
no, I mean those are like bushes compared to this. I mean, yeah.
Uh Aza would spend some time to probably climb up one and take a look around.
Okay. So you enjoy your time climbing and jumping. And the good part is that it's pretty easy for Azel to catch up with everyone else. You guys get to the mouth of the tomb. After several days' travel, you get to the mouth of the tomb. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is behind you, shining inside the tomb. And you can see just past the opening inside carved stone supports and columns, and the walls go from natural to firm right angle carvings.
From just like natural stone formations to definitely carved out unnatural phenomena.
Yep.
Cool.
Do we see any like writing with this shift? Any text put in the walls?
Nothing in languages that you would recognize. Some of it is very strange.
I think as this is happening, May's looking in the door, like her eyes go wide and then her expression changes and Deja takes over and she's like, I cannot go in there. It's uh mm, it's dark, too dark. I thought I could, but it's too much. I do not like dark places. I do not like holes in the ground. There's a way around. Can we go over? Let's just go up further. We can climb over the mountains. Yes.
Fang grabs her hand. It'll be all right. Just stay close.
All right. I trust you, brother. Whew, that's weird to say.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
As you walk in and you're taking a look, does everyone now have dark vision in this party?
No, Deja does not. She's pulling out a torch.
Deja has a torch. Got it.
Yeah.
Which for the rest of you gives you even a further extended vision for those of you that have dark vision. As you're walking into this tomb, you'll notice that the carvings of the wall seem to be some sort of strange hieroglyphic alphabet. Very old, very intricately carved with like full-on feathers carved into the birds, not just the outlines. Some of this required obviously lots of skill and lots of time. As you guys head in, after a little while, you come into a chamber, big and open. There's a couple of small caskets set up on the wall, intricately carved out of stone. It actually appears that there's not a single seam on these caskets. Like they're almost made out of the stone themselves and sealed around the bodies using some sort of arcane magic to seal them. Placed on top of the 4 caskets, there are 4 items. So first things first, as you are looking around inside there, you'll see on top of one of them a silver medallion. If you pick it up, you can learn more about it. Now on top of the other one, the next in line, so there's 2 on each side, there seems to be a disc of glass suspended in a metal ring with a small handle jutting off to the side. On the other side, there is a set of some sort of strange metal silver implements. And on the last one, there is a bronze statue with amethysts for eyes sitting there. The amethyst still, glittering in the torchlight.
What was the there was like a glass with a ring?
Yep.
So
You go to investigate, you pick it up.
well, no, I just want to. That's like a. Do not want to pick it up yet. The is that like a jewelry ring in a like liquid
It is a
glass?
metal band that seems to have the entirety of its interior made of a slightly convex piece of glass, as best you can tell from looking at it where it's laying, with a small handle sticking off the side.
What are these
And-
silver implements?
If you get closer, you can take a look at them. You don't have to pick them up. They're laid out.
Sure. I'll take
As
a
you
look.
get closer, you'll notice that these silver implements look a little familiar to you. Please roll an intelligence check for me.
Please
Would
roll a deck save.
Dex save. Would this benefit
No.
from Tinker's proficiency?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Intelligence. 17.
17. So you can tell by looking at the ends of these things that they appear to be some form of thieves' tools. However, they appear to have some sort of gears and springs attached to the handle. Without picking them and feeling with them, you won't be able to tell exactly what they are. But they appear to be some type of mechanized thieves' tools.
Does this glass disc with the handle look like a magnifying glass?
Meta, yes, it does. However, I'm not sure. Actually, with Deja's in Remnant Empire, yeah, Deja would have seen a magnifying glass. So yes, it does look like a magnifying glass.
So it does look like one, or it
Yes,
is
it looks
very
like a
much-
large magnifying glass, about 6 inches in diameter.
Dang, we miss Augie now. Silver medallion, disc, magnifying glass, silver thieves' tools, and mechanized thieves' tools, and a bronze statue with amethyst eyes.
Okay, I think Azel's gonna use his invisible mage hand to, from a distance, pick up the amulet.
Nothing happens as you pick it up. It kind of falls to the end of its chain slightly noisily, just a little. Some dust falls off of it.
Does this room have an exit, or is it
There is a tunnel on the far side that continues through.
okay? I was wondering if
Would
this
you
is
like to
like
bring
a
the
puzzle room.
Yeah. Would you like to bring the thing closer to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the kind of far away from the tombs a bit, at least some distance between the tombs, and I'm gonna pull it closer to me, slowly, while kind of watching for any movement from anything else.
Okay. As it comes closer, there seems to be an amulet of a lone god standing before a sun that is brightly blazing. It has a tiny bit of a strange green sheen to it.
Okay. Well, then I just pick it up and put it on me.
Okay. Nothing malignant happens. As you put it on, you hear a calm voice hit your brain. It has been thousands of years since someone has touched the amulet of my high priest. What is your name? Well, actually, I don't need your name. I know who you are. And I've always known you, for I am everywhere. I guess the question is, do you know who I am?
Guys, it's talking to me. Do you guys hear this? Is this just me?
It's sounding only in your mind.
We do not hear what this is. All I hear is the wind blowing through the cave.
Well, all right.
Well, it is not
gonna
uncommon for
pick up-
me to hear voices in my head. Either welcome to the club. I mean,
And that's-
now we are 3 for 3.
I'm gonna pick up the amulet, kind of, well, it's still like hanging from my neck, but kind of talk like directly into it. like a
Microphone.
walkie-talkie or
Yeah.
something.
Hello?
No, I've got no clue who you are. And then he's gonna put it up to his ear in case it like comes out of the.
There is no need for you to fiddle with my amulet. By putting it on, you have designated yourself as my new priest, and I have not had one in over 1,000 years.
What does this job entail?
You are to do the will of Foree. I am Foree. Mostly I wish for you to go and tell my children that my voice is still heard.
Would I recognize that name? Azel?
No, you would not.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, did that word make it out?
Yeah, I don't think any of the original party would divulge that particular piece of information because they were kind of told not to.
Mm-hmm. The only person here who knows anything about the Foramar is Fang.
Guys, it says it's an amulet of Foree. It says it is Foree. That ring a bell to anyone?
It does ring a bell to Fang. I'm not going to make you roll. You were told directly that the Foramar consider themselves Foree's children, and that the god that they worship is Foree. So, would Fang tell Azel what's going on and who Foree is? Since you're the only one in the party that knows about the
Yeah.
Foramar right now.
He would just kind of cuss under his breath.
Does this foray you said? Oh, that's a strange word. It's like well, anyways. Does it know what the rest of these things are?
Amulet. Sorry, I'm not entirely sure you got the right person, but I've got a couple questions if you don't mind. These other objects here,
Yes,
do you recognize them?
these are other artifacts from before the fall of my children. That glass is a glass of true identification. Looking through it will reveal truths that are obscured by my breath. Those tools, remnants of our great technology my children created before they were sundered and brought low. Tools for repairing, or perhaps for more mischievous purposes. Ah, yes. The idol. It is a simple statue made for aesthetic purposes, yeah. There's nothing malign or malignant about it.
All right.
That's not at all suspicious. Let's see. A glass
Uh,
of true identification, tools of an ancient era that are super advanced, and a simple statue alongside a god's talisman.
As you guys are drawn to the statue, you'll find it is incredibly well made. Amazing detail. The amethysts are roughly the size of a D20 embedded in its eyes. The simple statue, now that you get closer, appears to be some sort of humanoid in the middle of some sort of dance movement. And instead
Okay.
of, it looks like they have some form of dreadlock hanging from their head, which Fang would recognize this is a Foramar in some sort of middle of one of their casting movements. Very aesthetically made,
Okay.
which
The-
Fang would recognize. You, of course,
the-
do not.
The amulet says that this here glass is for identifying stuff. It seems to be particularly good at that through some means. These over here, well, they look an awful lot like thieves' tools to me. They're got some ancient technology, might make them better at doing that. That statue is expensive, and that's about all it's got on the statue.
Are we desecrating graves by by being here and touching these things? Because I'm feeling awful guilty about disturbing the resting place of these fine individuals.
Well, conveniently, I am now a priest, and I don't think that'll be an issue anymore.
That's awesome.
I am not sure.
If you encounter my children, they'll tell you that they consider their bodies to be husks after their spirit has joined with me. These goods are merely left for the next that comes to take them and use them for my good.
The amulet says it's okay. It says we're totally fine.
Well, not that I don't trust the voices in your head, but I don't know about this. Well,
It's fine. It's fine. The amulet said so. I don't know who
well,
this person is, but they seem very
all
very
right.
loose. It is here.
As much as I dislike the Foree, not the Foree as a people, but the entity, they do tell the truth, unfortunately.
Oh, so you know a little bit about them then?
Just a little bit more than you do. They are quite close to the chest, despite being very open. It's incredibly complicated.
Wow, Fang, that was a great word. Good using your big words.
I've been
does-
trying really hard recently.
Oh man, I can
A
tell.
little bit of Ramas is rubbed off on him.
I guess if these are gifts given freely, we may as well take them to help us on our journey.
All right.
I don't
If you
think we're-
actually pick them up, I can tell you exactly what they are, since you'll basically attune to them.
Sure, we should probably start with the glass of true identification, because that seems like a good thing to have to identify other things.
Okay. You pick it up. As a magic user, you can feel as you pick it up, it is a strong artifact level magical item. You realize this can cast the identify spell, and this identify spell will tell you the nature of an item. It won't give you the meta information, but it will tell you the nature of an item. Whether it's enchanted, cursed, whether someone is currently concealing their form with magic, it sees through illusions. And it also is able to basically grant you true sight. Yeah, so it's true sight, identify your proficiency modifier per day, and it is also technically able to discern the alignment of a creature if you can use it in a ritual casting of 10 minutes.
Cool.
Artifact level magic items. Gotta love them.
I guess these tools probably, I don't know, look like kind of like thieves' tools. You want to take them, Azel?
Oh,
As
sure.
you hand them up to, if you pick some up to hand them to, you do notice that these are extremely finely wrought. Your tinker's eyes can see the tiny little gears built into them, and the springs that are there with the little places where you can wind them to store mechanical force. All right. So Azel, so Brad, you being an engineer, I'll ascribe these to you. For mechanical purposes, these are considered +3 thieves' tools.
Okay.
For you, these are basically thieves' tools that contain a clockwork mechanism, at a very, very, very minuscule level. These can be wound to store energy so that you can essentially have a pre-timed scrubbing motion on the lockpicking to make lockpicking significantly easier and faster. The good part
Okay.
is that they also grant proficiency to anyone who uses them because of the abilities they have to make it significantly easier to do. It removes a lot of the fine motor skills that are needed in order to do lockpicking.
Okay. Actually, proficiency with these tools.
I think
You
you
do
get it.
now.
You get it automatically as a thief.
I do. Okay.
And even if you didn't, you'd have it now.
I don't have expertise with that. All
If you
right.
do, I'm going to say it gives you expertise with these. Since you know how to use these tools,
Okay.
once you spend some time to practice with them, you'll be able to use these with expertise level.
Okay.
All right. And of course, the
Statue.
once you pick it up, Hazel, your thief's eyes can figure out this is something worth at least 750 gold pieces to the right buyer.
The statue is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can just write statue worth 750 gold pieces in your
See, I told you it was
Okay.
expansive.
Oh, well, it is very shiny. I love those eyes, that amber color. Oh, you don't see that much in statues. Is it just me, or is it really dark in here? I didn't notice that while we were looking at all the shinies.
And with that, the amulet starts to glow a nice, solid 30 feet of uh, dim light around you, illuminating it. Hazel, you get the
Oh,
feeling that if you need to, you can generate 30 feet of dim light or 10 feet of bright light.
you're glowing, Hazel. Look at that.
Oh, hardly noticed. Well, maybe you ought to take this. Keep your eyes focused. And I don't know, this Foree person, I don't understand a thing they say.
Well, as much as I love the idea of having something glowing with me all the time, I don't need any more voices in my head. I mean, 2 is enough for us.
Oh, fair enough.
Mhm.
Foree, looks like you're sticking with me for now.
You couldn't get rid of me if you wanted to.
That's not
However,
ominous.
All
you will
right.
see that I am not a malevolent god. So, I will tell you that if you're going to be my paragon, you must continue through here. You'll find a test awaiting you.
I've never been great at tests.
You will test your virtue. That is all.
Fantastic.
How would you?
Um,
She knows all. Why would she need to test our virtue? She already knows what our virtue is.
All right. You have your stuff. The way forward is clear. Fang, now that you know this is a Foromar tomb, you can tell that the walls seem to have been made with Foromar shaping magic. Basically, a hyper advanced version of Mold or Earth. Mold Earth at 9th level. um, you guys continue on. After a couple of hours of walking, you come into another chamber with a single beam of light shooting through onto a pool of water. Pool is approximately 12 feet across. And in the center of that pool is a raised stone pillar with a ruby sunken into the top. So, we're leaving off in the middle of a chamber with a ruby the size of an apple, a thief, a healer, another thief, some more swashbuckler, and a warlock. Only one door in and a lever. Somehow there is a way out. All right, friends, thank you for listening to the Tale Untold podcast. It's been a wonderful night with you guys here today. Remember, if you enjoy what you've heard, go and get yourself a player's handbook and a dungeon master's guide. Grab some friends and have some fun together. Remember,
Yeah.
D&D is best with friends. Have a great night, friends.
Night.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, friends.